Good afternoon, students, and welcome to our ICT 9 second quarter, week 8. So this is Aljay Buhian, your ICT 9 subject teacher. In this week, we will be talking about basic computer configuration setup. So what is configuration? So configuration is the way a system is set up, or the assortment of components that make up the system. So configuration can refer to either hardware or software or the combination of both. Okay, so basic input or output system or BIOS is usually referred to as BIOS. So it is a software stored on a small memory chip on the motherboard. So BIOS instruct the computer on how to perform a number of basic functions such as booting and keyboard control. So BIOS is also used to identify and configure the hardware in a computer such as the hard drive, optical drive, CPU, and memory, and etc. So this is the Biosetup Utility, where you can see if you press del or press F1 your computer to enter the Biosetup Utility. So you can see the main, the advanced, the power, boot, security, and the exit. So here you will be able to set up your computer. So the time, the date, the hard drives, the flash drives, and everything else. So you can maneuver it in here in this Biosetup Utility. So BIOS is an accessed and configured through the Biosetup Utility. So BIOS access and configuration on PC systems is independent of any operating system because the BIOS is part of the motherboard hardware. So BIOS functions outside of the operating system environment and is no way dependent upon it. So yung BIOS and the operating system are different. So sila ay parang magkaibang mundo. But they are in the same computer. So BIOS contain a number of hardware configuration options that can be changed through the setup utility. So the following list shows the things you can do in most BIOS systems. So when you enter the BIOS systems, you'll be able to do all this. So you can change the boot order, load BIOS setup defaults, remove a BIOS password, create a BIOS password, change the date and time, change floppy drive settings, change hard drive settings, change CD, DVD, or BD drive settings, view amount of memory installed, change the boot app name lock status, enable or disable the computer logo, enable or disable the quick power on soft test or pause, enable or disable the CPU internal cache, then enable or disable, another is enable or disable the computer logo, enable or disable the quick power on soft test or pause, enable or disable the CPU internal cache, then enable or disable the caching of BIOS, change CPU settings, change memory settings, and change system voltages. So these are the things that you will be able to do in most BIOS systems. Then now let's talk about device drivers. Drivers are small software programs that help the operating system use or drive the device. So whenever a device doesn't work properly, ask if the proper driver has been installed. So the procedures listed below describe how to obtain and install drivers for hardware devices on a Microsoft Windows 2000 based computer. So step 1 is to determine the hardware manufacturer. Then step 2, obtain the driver. Then step 3, install the driver. So step 1, determining the hardware manufacturer. So if you do not know the manufacturer of the device for which you want to install the driver, follow these steps to determine the manufacturer. So first is to, on the desktop, right click my computer and then click manager. Then second step, under system tools, click device manager. Then the devices that are installed on the computer are listed in the right pane. So as you can see on the picture below. Then step 3, in the right pane, expand the category of the device that you want to configure. For example, expand display adapters. So you can see all the things that are in the network adapters or connected to the network adapters. Then step 4, right click the device for which you want to install the driver and then click properties. So you will be able to see its properties of the device that you just clicked or choose. Then step 5, click the general tab and make a note of the manufacturer and then model of the device. As you can see on the picture below, you have there the manufacturer and the model of the device. Then step 6, click cancel and then quit computer management. So note, if the device is not displayed in the device manager or the device is listed as a known device, contact the computer or device manufacturer to obtain more information about the device. Okay, step 2, obtain the driver. So to obtain the latest driver, use the following list of possible sources for the driver. So in order in which they are presented, so these are the things that you need to have. So original computer manufacturer, device manufacturer, chipset manufacturer, and installation CD or floppy disks. So original computer manufacturer. So if the device was installed by your computer manufacturer, contact the manufacturer of your computer to find out how to obtain, download, and install the latest drivers for the device. And then for the device manufacturer, contact the manufacturer of the device to inquire or to ask about how to obtain, download, and install the latest drivers for the devices. Then chipset manufacturer, you can also contact the chipset manufacturer of the device to find out how to obtain, download, and install the latest drivers for the device. So it is best for us to first contact the manufacturer of the device for the drivers before you contact the chipset manufacturer. So just like for example, if your display adapter uses a NVIDIA or NVIDIA chipset, first contact the manufacturer of the display adapter. So if you cannot contact the display adapter manufacturer, or if the manufacturer does not have a driver, contact NVIDIA. So some examples of chipset manufacturers and their websites include NVIDIA display adapters, then PCTEL Inc. for modems. Then lastly, installation of CD or floppy disks. So if you have original driver CD or floppy disks that were included with a computer or device, and if no other source for the driver is available, use the original driver that is included with the computer or devices. And then note that whenever possible, try to first contact the original equipment manufacturer or the OEM, so device manufacturer or chipset manufacturer, to obtain the latest version of the driver itself. Then step 3, install the driver. So the driver files that you download from the OEM, device manufacturer, or chipset manufacturer differ depending on how the driver is packaged by the manufacturer. So the file is an executable program. Run the program to extract the files. So then if the file is in zip format, you can use the third-party utilities such as WinZip to extract the files. And then for more information about how to extract the drivers files, see the instructions that are provided by the manufacturer of the driver. Then the driver may use a setup program. The driver package may continue raw driver files, or it may continue only raw driver files. So some examples include info files and system files. Then since driver, use one of the following methods as appropriate to your situation. So to install the driver, use one of the following methods as appropriate to your situation. So driver with a setup or installation program. Device is displayed in Device Manager. Device is not displayed in Device Manager. So first, drivers with a setup or installation program. So if the driver uses a setup or installation program, run the program to install the driver. So for more information about how to do this, see the documentation or contact the driver manufacturer. Kasi sila yung nakakaalam on how to install the program. Then, okay, let's talk about devices displayed in Device Manager. So this is the step. So on the desktop, right click my computer and then click my manager. Then under System Tools, click Device Manager. The devices that are installed on the computer are listed in the right panel. Then third, expand the category of the device that you want to configure. So for example, expand modems. Then note that the device may be listed under other devices. So number 4, right click the device for which you want to install the driver and then click Properties. Then note that the device that may be displayed as a known device or as a generic device. Then 5, click the driver tab and then click Update Driver. Then the Upgrade Device Driver wizard starts. Then click Next and do one of the following. So you have to click Search for suitable driver for my device as recommended and then click Next, or click the display a list of the known device for this device so that I can choose a specific driver and then click Next. Then click Have Disk, click Browse, locate the info files that you downloaded in step 2, which is the obtaining the driver. Then click an info file and then click Open. Then you will be able to proceed to step 8. So following the wizard instructions to install the driver. Then step 9, restart the computer. And you will have the driver on your computer after the restart. So device is not displayed in Device Manager. So use the Add New Hardware wizard in Control Panel to install drivers for non-plug and play devices. So you may have to use this method to install certain modems, serial ports, or printer ports. So click Start, point to Settings, and then click Control Panel. Then double click Add Remove Hardware and then click Next. Then after that, click Add or Troubleshoot a device and then click Next. Then do one of the following. Click Yes for if you search for new hardware and then click Next. Or click No, I want to select the hardware from a list and then click Next. Then step 7, follow the wizard instructions to install the driver, then restart the computer. And you will have the driver after the restart. So that is all for the discussion for this week. So thank you for listening, and may God and Allah bless you for this week and then for your activity. Then if ever you have any questions regarding this topic, just message me and contact me for more queries and clarification. This is Aljay Buyan, your ICT 9 subject teacher, signing off.